Hello, and welcome back to another Elevated Marketing podcast. So today we're going to talk about Google is not the only search engine, even though it has been, since 2015 or something, or
Pretty
very,
much.
very long time. I probably said the wrong date there. I just know it's been around for a really long time. But hello, ChatGPT and SGE. I'd be like, well, what does that mean? We're going to talk about it. Okay, so why is it that lemon juice has an artificial flavor while dishwashing liquid has real lemons?
I didn't know we were doing a brain teaser.
Brain
Or wait, no, a brain
Twister.
twister.
I know. So it's like you have this like lemon juice that is supposed to be actual lemon juice, but it has artificial flavoring in it. But then dishwashing liquid has like real lemons. I think you know the answer. It's just a brain twist. It's called marketing.
That was my answer. I feel like if we look at the ingredients on dish soap, you're
Yeah.
probably going to find that there's like 0.00001% lemon juice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's just called really good marketing. And I think that ties into today's subject of, Google is not the only search engine. ChatGPT and SGE is out there. And how that ties in is because, man, is there a lot of hype. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of stuff going on, and I just want to start with like you got to sift through this, and you have to not just see the headlines and be like, "Oh my god." Like we said on the last show, like keep it cool. Let's think
Yeah.
about this. Let's do some research. Let's look at who wrote the article. Do they have a stake in the game? Are they trying to sell an AI tool, or are they trying to protect existing money that they have? There's a big wave here, and there's three people here. There's the doomsday, like it's horrible. I want nothing to do with it. It's going to end the world. The celebrationist that probably has an AI tool. And they're just like, oh, this is great. This is the next big thing. And then there are, I would like to say, us, where we are realist, telling, okay, what is the actual use case? I've used this, like, try to poke the holes in it, which is what we do with anything. Like, is this really helpful? Or is it just flashy? We're always trying to stay ahead, but knowledge is power. And so we want to, really dig in. Um, yeah,
Yeah. It's definitely important to stay mindful that there are changes happening,
a
but
lot
all of them might not necessarily need to be at the top of your
need to
list.
be acted on right away. So ChatGPT, I think unless you're living underneath a rock, you know that. And, it's a possibility that people are going into ChatGPT and they're searching for actual products and services. It's a possibility. I'll come back to that. Then there's SGE, which is really Google's, toolbar or in their search engine. Before or currently, we would call them SERP or search engine results page. SGE is just the search generative experience. And so it's their version of ChatGPT in the search results.
Mhm.
And it's not coming up for all queries. A good large percentage, and sometimes it depends on what query. Sometimes it depends on where you're located at in the world. Sometimes it depends on what Google login that you have. And some are easier than others. So I think there's a lesson in there, right?
You need to get ahead. We signed up for this months ago.
You need to see, where, or your marketing agency needs to be looking at, where are these results coming and what is changing. So,
Mhm,
and not throwing out the entire plan. So if we were in July, it was like 81% of queries saw SGE, and then yesterday, an article comes out and it's like Google's kind of backing off of it and SGE results are not there as much. So it's like, okay, if you would have changed your entire marketing plan, what we have done is kind of looked at, okay, what are the overlapping items that are helping you rank in both places?
yeah, and I think that's the important part is, like, it's the bigger lesson of it all. Just because there's something new and glamorous, it does not mean you drop everything that you've been doing and working so hard to achieve.
Yep.
It's where can it overlap and how can you benefit in both areas?
Yep, yep. Take the use case studies because, we started this with Google's not the only search engine. Hello, ChatGPT and SGE, which is Google's, you know, AI chat responses. Are people really using ChatGPT to actually get queries for looking for a user? I don't know because ChatGPT only has 2% of Google's monthly traffic. Um, you know, the traffic to Google has barely, dropped. And so people are still using Google. Perhaps they're using ChatGPT more of a how can I make things simpler, more of a
Mhm.
tool, not necessarily a search engine. Could that change? Possibly, but that's what the data is kind of telling you.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see Chad. We're bringing back Chat. I don't see Chat GPT as like search engine. And because of the way I think OpenAI has positioned this as a tool to help you do things quicker or easier. And, right before the show, I did go into ChatGPT and I searched what are some stores in Columbus, Indiana. The answer I got was I don't have real time data or the ability to browse the internet, so I can't provide you with the current list of stores in Columbus. However, here are some general stores, and then it names a list of stores that we don't have here. But
It's not that helpful, and neither is the SGE results, and that's
mhm,
why, just came out where and when this comes out, it could possibly change again is Google's kind of backed off of it again because it's not giving people what they want. And those results are completely different than the results of a normal search. And I think you got to trust your own data.
mhm. Yeah. Well, and I think too with like SGE, say Google, kind of puts some more behind it. We're probably going to see all of those documents like we have with like the quality search and the content and all this and that. And so I feel like once we do, if we do get to that point, I'm sure we will at
You're
some
Yeah, you're onto something there big, and we talked about it in our most recent chat is it is going to be quality over quantity with search engine results and content, which is been the case, kinda. But with AI and being able to create content so quickly, what's the one thing they'll be looking for is their engagement with this content. That's a new metric inside of G4 is, and then we can go into like what that is and what you need to get that. And I know the next show we're going to talk about, how to measure content, but I'm just saying that if people can produce content really quickly, then the engagement of that content is what's going to matter, and for Google to understand that it is good quality, which wraps into their eat and all that fun stuff.
Mhm. It's kind of like the saying of, like, "You get what you pay for." But
Mm,
in this sense, you get what you spend the time on type of
yeah.
I feel like, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, ChatGPT traffic has increased up to 55 million. But again, it's only 2% of Google's web traffic. So 2%. So
Mhm,
a lot of traffic going over ChatGPT, but it's 2% of what people go to Google's traffic. And I think Bing went up 2% too. So it's just don't I'm cautiously being very, like, dug into this and looking at everything possible, and it could go this way, it could go that way, but I'm being a realist in what can I affect right now and not trying to think too far and get my head, like, spinning that, "Okay, this could happen." Yeah, but, like, what's happening right now?
mhm. Yeah, it's definitely like, don't put all of your eggs in one basket, like, keep what you're doing, but don't have tunnel vision and that you aren't aware of what's happening around that, but
Yeah.
also don't jump on this new train that we don't know what's going to happen yet.
Yeah, so I thought this one was going to be much like longer, but
Mhm,
I feel like we've covered what we wanted to talk about and just about thinking about there are things happening with search engines and how people search for information and ChatGPT and SGE results and going out there and doing your own research to are these queries coming up and then figuring out or getting with your marketing agency like, well, what do I need to do to rank over there, and does that line up with some things that I already want to do that are gonna be in both places.
mhm.
Yeah. Any last minute thoughts for you?
Hmm. No,
No?
I think I'm at a loss right now.
Well, if you start digging into this stuff, it's real quick. I feel very confident now in what I know, but I've
Yeah.
spent hours and hours like sifting through this stuff to where I'm like, okay, I got this. I can do this. And that's what you have to do. So,
Mhm.
all right, everyone, take care.